My name is Liz Bryan. I am the previous director of NTAC Academy at Wayne High School, where I was the founder of the school and then worked there with the implementation of the model for 8 years. NTAC Academy is a small school housed within Wayne High School. Wayne High School is one of the 5 large urban high schools in Fort Wayne Community Schools. A population of approximately 1,200 students. It is, as I said, it's very urban, 70% free and reduced lunch. We have 400 students enrolled in the NTAC program. We are a separate program. We are isolated from the traditional high school, even though our students still participate in extracurricular activities on the main campus. I moved to Fort Wayne in 2002, and I immediately began working with Fort Wayne Community Schools. At that point in time, I was working on my master's in administration. The reason I went into administration was there was a certain point in time where I worked for an educational software company, and I would go in and I would work with teachers on how to integrate technology into their classroom. When I would then work with the administration, they didn't ever have faith in their teachers and the work they were doing. They never empowered their teachers to their full potential. And it's something that just really always kind of made my heart ache as I would travel the country and move from school to school. So I knew at that point in time it was time for me to return to a school, but in an administrative or leadership role. So when I went to Fort Wayne, I went in as a classroom teacher, then continued right on into administration. My first job in administration was the dean of students, where you worked with all the, quote, bad kids that really were not bad kids. They were really disengaged in their learning. I really wasn't able to change the root of the problem, and that was what was going on in the classroom. So at that point in time, I went and I ran the Smaller Learning Communities grant. The district received a $5 million grant. And at that point in time is when I met Dave Dressler, and I learned about the NTAC network. That is when I asked my supervisor, could I please run the NTAC that we were about to open? So that's how it all began. So that started in 2008, and I started working with with Dave Dressler. I started working with Mark Morrison. We started working with community partners, and lo and behold, within a year, we were opening our doors. When we first started NTAC, it was such an exciting time, and I was, the euphoria that I felt, I think probably got me through the rough spots, because I had to find really good teachers, and I had to find people that they didn't have to think like I thought, but they had to understand there was an issue in the traditional model, and that we could make a change, and it was going to be hard work, but that with a small group, we could make real change in what we did with our education in Fort Wayne. So that was the first initial struggle, was finding that group of teachers that said, I can do this with you, I trust you as a leader, and we're going to do this and we're going to find the answer. Once we got that group of teachers and we started our training, the training was so rigorous. None of us had ever experienced anything like that. We celebrated, we cried, we wrote rubrics and rubrics and rubrics. Then came the part of getting the kids to show up. And so I would go to every middle school and I would knock on doors, and I would go to the Chamber of Commerce, and I would go to any open house and I would talk about NTAC. And lo and behold, I finally got 92 kids to show up that first day of school to be part of the first NTAC Academy class. Realizing the kids that I got at that point were very disengaged with their learning. We had kids at every different level. We had kids with so many challenges at home. We weren't really sure what we were getting, but we had warm bodies, and so then the real work began. And the real work wiped it out of us that first year. I remember Lee Fleming was our coach, and she came to the school the week before. We're so excited, you know, we're gonna teach trust, respect, responsibility, we've got this. We're gonna have such a great culture. And then she goes, enjoy the ride. And I remember her walking out, and I was thinking, how are we gonna teach trust, respect, and responsibility? And it was that night that I went in, I just looked at the staff and I said, what are we doing? Like, what is our plan? They're not just gonna come in here and get it. And so we just started, we all sat down that afternoon, which went into the evening, and just created that plan of that first week, when we decided there will be no content the first week of school. And in a traditional model, that doesn't go. You know, that first day is you're going to hand out books, and then the second day you're going to give the first homework assignment. So as a group, we made that commitment that we were going to build that culture, and we have stuck with that every year since. NTAC in particular is going to really feel the shortage of teachers, of qualified candidates that truly understand what the profession asks for. It's not like you could just go in and, like it used to be, when you could just go in and become a teacher. But now you're giving a part of you to the profession. You are rethinking education. You're going to take risks. It's not just about your content anymore. It's about opening your door, becoming a collaborator, being a facilitator and letting the students take the lead, and opening your door to outside community partners to really help drive your instruction and make it meaningful. In education, not just public education, any form of education, our public wants to be involved. Our community wants to be involved. Our churches want to be involved. Our Boys and Girls Club want to be involved. They just don't know how. And so for me, that's been the easy part of the job, that really saying to people or going to their meetings and talking about the school and asking them to sit on committees and asking them to come work with kids. They love it. Who doesn't like to see a kid grow? Who doesn't like to have an impact on a child? And so people sometimes struggle with authenticity in their projects, and they worry, is it relevant? Do I have outside experts? We have so many people. It's taking that time to reach out and open our doors to adults in our community. One of the things that we realized, our school is housed on the south side of Fort Wayne. A lot of our students had never even been to downtown Fort Wayne. They've never gone to the baseball diamond, to the Coliseum, to the big public library. And so this year, the last 2 years, we've worked with what we're calling our Downtown Improvement District. So we take the kids downtown and we do an architectural walk with them. And so we have adults in our community that walk groups of kids around and talk about our downtown, the history of our community, and then kind of the next steps in our growth. The kids have just been like so excited about where they live. So then they created blueprints of what they would like to see to entice more people to come downtown. And so they redesigned blocks of the city, and they had aquariums, and they had museums, and they had green space. And then they actually, they did the drawings in CAD. And they had to present to the deputy mayor and to some other community members why they thought these plans should work to be part of our downtown growth and our redevelopment, which has been really exciting because Fort Wayne just received this huge grant. And so they're actually looking at the kids' input when they talk about their next steps in our development of our community. People ask me about how I'm rewarded in my work, because it's more than the pay, it's more than a salary. It's really about human growth, human capital, and there's so much to say for that every day. It's more than just saying to a student, oh, look at that, you passed, or it's more than you graduated, because that has to just be our expectation, that we're going to see growth in our students. But it's also helping them understand the world that they live in, helping them understand the challenges, and giving them the power to understand they can solve a problem. Or when they leave this school, when they get hit with something hard in life, that they can solve that problem, that they can make it through. So teaching them grit, which so many of our kids don't get at home. Also with teachers, to watch them develop has been one of the most rewarding. Obviously the student growth is the most, because that's continual, you see it constantly. But when you really watch an adult emerge themselves and change their passion and become just this amazing teacher to so many kids, because that's going to have true change. I'm going to affect a couple kids here and there, but then I've affected someone else who's then going to affect more kids. So that to me is so touching and so amazing. And you have to see a lot of struggles before you see the growth in adults. You have to see the tears, you have to see the frustration, the temper tantrums, the I give up, and then you see the growth. And that's when you know you've succeeded. I received the Susan Schilling Award, and it was quite an honor. And so I have to really reflect on my practice to make me think, so what have I done that made someone think that I was good enough to receive such an award? and I reflect on my practices and what I know I need to keep as I move forward. And one of those is the collaboration piece and the professional learning, because I think they go hand in hand. And Susan Schilling was a collaborator. She believed that teachers needed to work together, that we need to continue our learning as a group and finding that answer amongst ourselves. So many times I think we look to outside people all the time to give us the quick answer or the magic bullet, the magic fix. And I think we learn better when we work in groups. And so one of the things that I have been adamant about with the support of the network is the professional learning that we have done as a school and that we have continued to do. And I'm relentless on it. I'm relentless on we're going to meet, and our meeting is not organizational, because I can put that in an email to you. Our meetings are about our learning. Our meetings are about looking at student work. Our meetings are about what is the true expectation that we have of our students and of ourselves. So when I think about something that I have done to receive this award, I would really put my finger on that, because I believe as a school we have made huge steps and have had so much student success because of the learning that we've done as a group. Also with college readiness, with a 70% free and reduced rate, we really started focusing on not just college readiness, but college and career readiness. So as juniors and seniors, we are adamant that everyone does a job shadow. We are adamant that they learn from our community members. So they're learning about all different types of industries, whether it's an electrical engineer, whether it's a pipe fitter, whether it's a construction worker. And in Indiana, or especially in Northeast Indiana, the trades are so big right now and they cannot find the employees to do so. So we're looking at kids that have no role model or peer in their family that's gone through college. And so we talk to them about what's your expectation, and if you're going to college, tell us why. And then we talk about the financial piece, and we talk about, are you finding meaning and value in your next step in your life? And really getting them to look at the bigger picture. Because maybe there's someone that I'm going to go into the construction and trades because I've loved my engineering classes. I love working with my hands. Maybe I'm not quite ready for college. But I could go and I could get a job right now, and then my employer is willing to pay for me to take my classes. And then baby step it. So many times we get stuck with, you're a senior, you're going to graduate and go to college. That's not the way our world works anymore. So really talking to kids and getting them to reflect on who they are and where they're headed. Being part of the NTAC network has been a tremendous experience for me, both professionally and personally. And I will say personally because it's just influenced who I am as a person. And I think when you're in education, who you are is professionally and personal, because it's dealing with human beings, it's dealing with life, it's dealing with watching people grow. And the support that I have received has been amazing. The professional learning through the annual conferences, through the coaching has been great. The collaboration when they are bringing directors from all across the country together to share ideas, to share best practices. It's been nonstop support. The network has also helped us as a school with our college readiness assessments. The CRA work is hard. A lot of schools are kind of like, that's too much for us. But for NTAC Academy at Wayne High School, the work that we have done with Drew has been amazing. It has pushed us in our learning as a group, as adults. It's also pushed our students in their learning. We are looking at student work more deeply. We are calibrating how we score our students and really thinking about the rigor of our projects and our writing. The NTAC network contacted me about doing a study tour. You can imagine I was so nervous about having someone else come into the building. We were so new. They were going to be looking at our implementation and our practice of PBL, and so anxious. And sure enough, they came, and it was phenomenal. It was such a good experience, because when you get someone else looking at your program, you see through their eyes. So you see the greatness that sometimes you just look right through. And then you also see the little bit of flaw and how easy it would be to fix. That didn't sound right, though. If I could do this work all over again, I would do it. It has been so powerful. It has been so rewarding in every aspect. The New Tech movement is more than just New Tech. It's about redoing the way we do education. The whole world has changed, but the public high school has stayed the same. And that's silly that we live in a modern society and we don't see it. So my advice to any new director would be, don't give up. You've got to see the bigger picture, you've got to see the world we live in, and you got to do something about it.